As runners, we all challenge ourselves in ways we never thought possible, pushing the boundaries of what we're capable of to smash through targets and set ourselves new, bigger and better ones.
This awesome hobby that we share gives us one thing in common, and it brings us together as a community. Whether you're working towards completing your first parkrun or you're a veteran of the sport who's run 100 ultra marathons, we all know the feeling of reaching that maxed out effort and our own red line.
Welcome to our podcast, where your hosts Brett Elsmore and Andy Maguire discuss the struggles, the successes and everything in between on our running journeys, as we all work towards the next time we're running the red line. Hello and welcome to episode 58 of Running the Red Line. I am your host Brett, and I am joined as always by my co-host Andy. How you doing this week? How you doing this week, mate?
Yeah, not bad. A lot better than I was last week anyway. So
yeah, are you still getting helicopters?
No, actually, they went as quickly as they came, if you know what I mean. So it was bizarre. But I tell you what, though, the old running community are full of helpful advice, because I've had loads of people say, I've no idea how many people have like this thing that I've got, which is like occasional vertigo and migraines, that sort of thing. So loads of people have given some really useful advice, including something that we were just chatting about beforehand. Somebody wrote in, I'm so sorry, I can't remember who it was, and said the Epley technique. Have a look at the Epley technique. Is that what it's called? Epley? I want to say Epley. Epley. I was hoping you'd chime in then and help me out, but you just went silent. So I'm on my own.
I think you said it right. That's why.
That's right. That's right.
I didn't say anything. Is because I think you said Epley right. I think
the Epley. Well, I questioned it. That's right. The Epley manoeuvre, which is like you sort of hold your head in different places, and it's to do with the crystal buildup in your ear canals, I think.
Yeah. And you need to reset them into place. Yeah.
So I've had all sorts of good advice about that. But I'm pleased to announce that I'm feeling a lot better than I was last week. But what I've decided to do with my running is not listen to any advice and just do 100 miles. No, is basically keep it the same as what I did last week. So I sort of did like a bit of a recovery week last week, which is like my lowest volume of the in the last few weeks, and then I'm keeping it. I'm just nudging it up a touch this week. Yeah. Because the next 3 weeks are supposed to be my peak weeks, and I'm a stickler for routine, and I know you are as well. So I don't really like things getting out of kilter. And the amount of people that were saying take a week off, take 5 days off, I just can't. I literally can't. It's like Starsky says in Starsky Nutch: if I'm alive, I drive. It's like if I'm awake, I just want to run. But I wouldn't obviously run if I was feeling really, really poorly. But the weird thing about it was last week, I was okay to run, but just general day-to-day things were a little bit more difficult. But running, being out in the open, like I was saying last week, being away from screens and stuff was actually really good for me. So more of that this week, and low volume again-ish this week. I'm going to get a Sunday long run in, and then that's my week really.
Yeah. You saying about doing day-to-day things being a bit more difficult. This is completely different, but along the same sort of lines. The other week, what did I do? I did 63 mile on the bike in place of a Sunday long run. And the weather started to go down so like quickly towards the end that the last hour was freezing to the point where I lost the feeling in my hand in my left hand, because your right hand you're moving it and using it to change the gears, but your left hand is just stuck in place holding your handlebar for most of the time. And I got home and I couldn't use my hands properly, and I was holding up in front of me, and I was holding my right hand and putting my fingers together like that, and I was trying my hardest, and I couldn't move my fingers further together like that. And then for the next 2 days, gripping things with my left hand or doing things with my left hand was a real chore, because I'd sort of lost the ability to use my hand properly.
That's bonkers.
I know.
Because you think about it, I mean, I'm not a cyclist, but because you're traveling at such a faster speed, you must get freezing cold on the bike.
Yeah, the wind chill factor.
Yeah.
Along with the weather, and then the wind chill factor of you going into, it's it was quite scary. Like when I got home, and I couldn't pinch my hand together. I couldn't like put it together. It was bizarre, and I couldn't pick things up properly. And I was like, what the hell is going on with my hand? Eventually, once it fully warmed up over the next couple of days, I got all of the feeling back in it. But it was a bit odd, especially I went to work on the Tuesday, and I was like, it was quite scary, because I was like, I work with my hands. That's all I do. My job is using my hands, and I can't use one of my hands properly.
No way! I can't believe it lasted that long.
Yeah, but it's back to normal now. But like, for a couple of days it was weird. So like, do you know when you turn the tap on in the bathroom?
Yeah,
you don't think about just using your right or left hand, like the taps that are either side of the tap.
Yeah,
I couldn't turn the tap on the left hand side off properly, so I was having to use my right hand and lean over, because I couldn't grip it hard enough to actually turn it off properly.
Wow, that's
weird.
That is odd. Yeah. Well, looks like you've made a recovery now, unless you're only using your one hand to drink tea out of.
No, they're both right.
Oh, good. Oh, you good? Yeah. So before we get into the podcast, I wanted to quickly mention something that made me absolutely howl last week. Well, not howl, but like, I can't believe this even exists. I was talking to Tommy D on Instagram, and it turns out that we have a similar thing in common, and we're both strangely addicted to North Korea. So I don't know if you are. I don't know if you have like a guilty pleasure like that, where you are weirdly knowledgeable about strange things. But I've been really interested in North Korea for a really long time, and just watching loads of videos about it and reading up about it and things like that. And he sent me this.
Is it the amount of haircuts they're allowed?
Yeah, there's 17. You're literally allowed. I think it's something like 17 for the women, and men are allowed to choose from one of 10. Like literally, you choose from a board. Things like that. Absolutely crazy. But he texted me. Did he text you about or do you know anything about the Pyongyang marathon?
No, the last message I had from Tommy D was to tell me that he was fully on board the Saurine malt loaf train.
Well, in North Korea, there'd be none of that. They wouldn't know what Saurine was, because Pyongyang has opened its doors to tourists for the first time, I think, since the pandemic. And I'm saying this like anyone listening to this could think, oh yeah, I'd fancy having a go. It opened and closed on the same day. It sold out on the same day.
Oh, wow.
So I think they're open to locals. I don't know how the locals are chosen to run the marathon, but they also have Westerners in to come and run the marathon. So I'll just talk you through this. So Kyoto Tours is now accepting applications for the 2025 Pyongyang Marathon, April the 6th. Open to runners only, amateur runner entry. The deadline for completion is March the 14th, so that was last week. But you get 5 nights in Pyongyang for €2,195. And you have to act quick, it says, because applicants, the space will be limited and time is very limited with the deadline on March 14th. You must run or walk. This year's marathon is not a tourist event. If you join the trip, you must take part in the full marathon, half, 10K or 5K. If I'm going to Pyongyang, I'm going to run a marathon. I'm not going over there to do a parkrun.
Yeah.
So I would want to go and do the whole thing. And it's only Pyongyang. And it says, other than running the race, a few visits to key sites in the capital will be included, but there will be no excursions outside of Pyongyang. And it says all include transportation, guides, meals, excursions in Pyongyang, and of course the marathon. And the last slide is, as of March 2025, most nationalities can visit North Korea, except for South Korean, US, and Malaysian passport holders, restricted for political, diplomatic reasons. So, if it were open, would you be interested in running in the hermit state, the hermit capital of the world, North Korea?
It depends on if they give me a choice of like 10 different kits and 10 different shoes, or
well, I've watched a few of these on YouTube because they have not streamed them, they have put the highlights up, and what is crazy is I saw the 2021 or 2021 and people had GoPros, so I think they would they wouldn't mind you filming the experience. Of course, it's curated to make North Korea look fabulous and amazing, and it's the safest place on earth. But they say that the marathon is the only time you will ever get to visit North Korea, potentially for the rest of our lifetime, where you are unsupervised, because the guides obviously can't be with you for the whole time. Because when you go to North Korea, you can't just walk around. It's a bit like going to, well, not that you would, but it's a bit like going to Russia. You can't just walk around. You have to have a guide. And for the marathon, I think it's loops. I think you do 2 or 3 loops or something like that of the capital city. But the people come out and line the streets. They're all in the stadium as well. So you finish and start in the stadium and it's packed. It's like 80,000 seater.
They don't want to be there to cheer you on. They've been told
they don't know what they're watching. I know, they don't have a clue what they're watching. But I don't know what it is about the curiosity of North Korea. I will never go because Laura won't let me go because of what's happened to. There's a case of someone called Otto Warmbier. I don't know if you've heard of him. He was an American tourist that went around about 2020. Or no, maybe it was more like, should know this, probably about 2014, actually. It was about 10 years ago thinking about it. And he went and he either did this or was framed. No one really knows. But he was charged with removing a propaganda poster with intention to take it home and show the rest of North Korea, the rest of the US, what North Korea think of America, which is well documented anyway. So basically, he's dead now. He got sent to a labor camp and was sentenced to something like 30 years hard labor. And then they rang Trump and said, "Oh, you can have him back now. He's on the plane home." Came back in a coma, died a week later. So I've told Laura about that. She said, and basically he was in the queue, like priority boarding, on the way home, and he got a tap on the shoulder and they said, "Excuse me, sir, can you come this way?" And he said to his mate, who he'd met on the trip, his mate said to him, "That's the last I'll probably ever see of you then." And he laughed, and then he went and he never saw him again. So for reasons like that, it is a very volatile place and you're not safe if you do visit.
Well, but at the same time, America are on the banned list, as you just said. You cannot do it. So do they treat Americans differently to other
Absolutely.
countries?
They are the enemy. They are the enemy because of how they divided North and South Korea, well, in their opinion, and things like that. So it's very, very interesting. And I just have this curiosity about visiting there. And to run a marathon, you'd think, oh, that'd be quite a safe way to visit a city. So maybe that would be the safest thing to do. I don't know. But then I think, oh my God, I'm going to have to check every tweet and comment and Facebook thing I've ever said in my life, because you can bet your life they have vetted you.
Yeah,
And they
100%.
they know exactly who's in their country. So yeah. But
I'm not sure I would. I'm not sure I
really,
could do it. Yeah.
yeah. But
It,
yeah,
it
that's
it'd
one thing
be
you said about
interesting.
kit. So I've looked at the Pyongyang marathons from previous years, and so much of the kit I just don't recognize. So it's as if you arrive and it's as if they take you shopping to one of their North Korean high performance outlets, where we make the best kit in the world, and you have to wear, their kit. That's what it looks like anyway, because I didn't see any alpha flies or anything that was to do with the Western world. So who knows? Maybe times have changed, but keep your eyes open for the internet after the marathon's done, because I'd love to see pictures from it.
So you step off the plane, and you walk to the next building, and it's a running kit store. And you have to pick out your kit for the thingy from certain selections. Next building, shoes. Pick your shoes from their selection. Next building, they sit you down in a barber's chair and go, you can have a Lionel Blair cut like mine.
Is it number 6? Is it? Yeah, go on. I'll go number 6. Yeah, that's a fair enough.
Can you remember that advert? The Lionel Blair advert.
Oh no! I know who Lionel Blair is, but what's that advert?
Can you not remember the advert? I think it was for a beer, and a guy goes into a barber's and he goes, and he sits down and he goes, "What do you want?" And he says what he wants. He went, and the barber goes, "You could have a Lionel Blair cut like mine." And the bloke in the chair goes, "Lionel Blair, doesn't he have his hair cut like yours?" And he goes, "He does if he comes here." And he gets the clippers out, and then the next shot is Lionel Blair with the same haircut.
Yeah, I've just found it now. It's 1992. And
man, is it really that old?
And it was from. It looks like it was from Harp.
Yeah,
the beer Harp.
Harp lager. Yeah.
Oh, he's got no sound. Just a trim.
You could have a Lionel Blair cut. Lionel Blair doesn't have his hair cut like yours. As if he comes here.
Brilliant. Yeah. So that's exactly what it would be like. It would be like you have to do and what's on their agenda, I think, and respect their culture, I guess. But I just thought that was interesting. So would it be a no from you to do the Pyongyang marathon?
I see, it'd be interesting, but I don't think I could. I think there's too many factors that would make it. I don't think you'd enjoy it as much as you'd want to because of all of those things. You'd be worried about everything you do and everything you say whilst you're there.
Yeah. You couldn't really ever really relax because
No.
Like if everything from like everything you say,
you'd be running the marathon as stiff as a board because you were like really nervous. You'd be like, when they put toilet roll tube on cats' legs.
Yeah,
you'd be running like that, stiff with fright of what's going on.
I don't know. I will maybe put it on the maybe list for future. It might cost me my marriage, but at least I'll get a Lionel Blair wig or haircut. So you never know. But so we'll maybe agree to disagree on that one. But I think I would quite like to give it a go.
I do want to know how Kim Jong-un gets his hair like that. How he gets that perfect flat top on his hair and how it stays exactly in place. I'm not sure.
Imagine being his barber as well, like the pressure. He's probably had about 70,000 barbers, isn't he? Each one of them gets executed straight after.
It's a bit like Austin Powers and Dr. Evil, just getting rid of them all the time.
Okay, I can never do the Pyongyang marathon now because this podcast will be the first thing they'd listen to. I'd get a tap on the shoulder and say, "Excuse me, did you compare the Marshal Kim Jong-un to Dr. Evil?" But no, that was Brett. That was my friend. That wasn't me. It was me. It was me. It was Brett. I love North Korea. So yeah,
Brilliant.
but that was. I just thought that would be an interesting topic. So maybe let us know, where is the strangest place that, if you're listening or watching this, that you would desire to run around, that is maybe a little bit off the beaten track, let's say, or off the normal sort of marathon major list. Anywhere that you'd quite like to run, maybe Antarctica, or maybe maybe with the polar bears in the Arctic. Do you know there is one marathon that you can do in Iceland called the Midnight Marathon? And obviously it's, I don't know, probably sets off at 10 o'clock, finishes about 2-ish or something like that. And yeah, it's like as light as it is outside right now. Like it's a novelty one, I guess.
Yeah.
Whether it's a good marathon or not, I don't know. But the novelty of it being the middle of the night and still bright would be one of those ones that just to say, yep, I've done that. Or the Greek one. That's another one we've said we like.
Yeah. Trying to get your body clock to work, though, with it being midnight, but bright as daytime would be really weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, like setting off for a marathon at 10 o'clock. There's another one. So, Louise, my sister, she lives in Metz in France. So that's just half an hour from the Luxembourg border. And in Luxembourg City, they do something every May called the Night Marathon. And that sets off at, I don't know, 7 o'clock at night. And you finish. It's crazy. I've seen the footage of it because I've considered it again. And but the elevation is crazy, because if you've ever been to Luxembourg City, you'll know that you go to the old town, which is like down a cliff. Luxembourg is like, imagine like a mixing bowl. Imagine like you're baking a cake. The old town is the cake in the middle, and the top of the mixing bowl is the new town, is the new city. And some of that, and to get up to the new town and down, it's like a really steep bank to get up and down it. But I've seen the footage of that, and you finish in like this weird disco tent thing. And it's like, it's so European. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
So that's maybe one I'd like to give a go. But yeah, the Greek one would be the authentic. That would be good to do one day.
Yeah, that would be cool. I don't know if I'd like to run there, but I've always been intrigued by what's called as well Chernobyl and the radiation zone. Just like do you know the shots where you see like the Ferris wheel and all that, like that's just been abandoned, and it looks crazy, but obviously you wouldn't want to go there. With the whole radiation thing. Yeah,
it's I think you can visit there. I think maybe not at the moment because it's because of what's going on over in Ukraine. But I know someone that went there actually on a guided tour, and you could see some of the buildings. I don't know if you have to wear a hazmat suit, or I don't know if by now it's been nearly 30 years, isn't it, or maybe more.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's safe to be around that area.
No, it's still inside like the radiation zone. It's still mega dangerous.
Is it?
I know somebody who went over there a couple of years ago, and they had a Geiger counter, and they put a little video up on their Instagram, and they had it in the hand, and they were filming their Geiger counter, and it was on normal, and he took 5 steps forward, and it went to 10 times the accepted radiation level.
Wow.
Just in that distance.
Well,
crazy.
I recently watched 2 weeks ago. I was watching the Chernobyl series. Have you seen that series? The HBO series.
Is that the first time you've seen it?
No, I watched it again. I remember I just remember just how much I love that drama. I thought it was great.
It's incredible, isn't it? It's amazing.
And that scene in the courtroom at the end where he's explaining all the boron and the difference between the negative void coefficients and all that. It's absolutely just a scientist's wet dream. I love it. But and I'm not a scientist. I'm not saying that I'm a scientist at all, but I really enjoy just learning about well, I guess that the worst ever nuclear disaster that's ever happened. But at the end of that, it shows some slides about some of the people that were actually during who the story was about. And at the end, it showed one of the hospitals, and the hospital in Chernobyl or Chernobyl, I don't quite know how you say it. At the end, they showed the firefighters' kit is still down there,
Yeah.
and it is still fatally radioactive. Like the amount of radiation that's still on those clothes, and
Yeah.
as far as I know, unless you bury it in 1,000 foot of concrete, I don't really think there's an answer to destroy that radioactive waste, really. And so yeah, it obviously would be a very, but yeah, the Chernobyl marathon. Let's do it. What's the worst that could happen? Let's set it up.
I was just about to do a really bad dad joke, but I don't know if I'm going to bother.
No, I've heard. I know exactly what it is. Go on. You told me this, and I liked it.
Well, I'm going to change it up slightly, and I'm going to say, why do you need to make sure that you wear shorts when you run the Chernobyl marathon?
Go on, tell me why.
Because if you don't, Chernobyl fall off.
Hey! I tell you how you told me that joke, because you did exactly the same joke, or a slightly more smutty one, about that when we did the Fission 2020, which was at the nuclear power station in Parkrun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. That's that's up there with like the best dad jokes there are.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Along with it, would you like to hear another one?
Yes, go on, please.
Did you hear about the magic tractor?
No.
It drove down the road and turned into a field.
That's just world class. That is absolutely brilliant. That is phenomenal. That's really good. So here we are, nearly half an hour in. We've mentioned Kim Jong-un, radioactivity, negative void coefficients. We haven't really talked much about.
We talked about a couple of marathons.
We have mentioned the. Did we?
Yeah,
we talked about the Pyongyang marathon.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's how we even got onto the topic.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's the most deadly question on this podcast. How are you doing this week, mate? 28 minutes later, here we are. 26 minutes. So,
yeah. So, news this week. We should probably just quickly go over World Indoors. I don't know if you saw any of the World Indoors.
I didn't actually know.
Well, like the distance events that we'd be interested in. So we had the 3,000 meters, and in the women's, I'm going to
attempt some names.
Yeah, I don't know about this first name. I can get the second name, but Fruweni Halu won the women's 3,000 meters in 8:37. And then in second and third was Shelby Houlihan and Jess Hull. And Jess Hull is the Australian who came. Did she come second in the 1,500 meters at the Olympics?
Can't remember.
But she got just outkicked at the end by an American called Shelby Houlihan. And this is a little bit controversial. I don't know whether we should go into this conversation slightly, but Shelby Houlihan has just come back. So this is her first championships after being banned for 4 years for being done for taking nandrolone, I think it was.
Right.
So she got done for performance enhancing drugs, which yes, she's served a time and had 4 years ban where she's not been able to compete, but she's back and running just as well as she was when she got popped for taking banned substances. And the big controversial part of it is when she got tested and it came positive for a banned substance, she didn't hold her hands up and say, yeah, I'm sorry, Yes. She tried to blame it on a burrito and said the beef in the burrito she'd eaten obviously had traces of this drug, and that's why she got tested positive. And then her coach tried to claim that he didn't even know what nandrolone was and had never heard of the drug. So it was all very controversial, and they basically said, look, sorry, you've taken banned substances, you are banned. So she's been banned for the last 4 years. She's never said sorry. She's never admitted to it. She's always claimed that this burrito was the reason she got banned. And now she's come back and she's running just as fast and has now got a silver world indoors medal. And it's, half of the people online are saying fantastic that she's back. She was treated really badly, blah, 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 blah. But, well, probably less than half. But there are a lot of people who are basically saying she shouldn't be in the sport anymore because once a cheater, always a cheater. And there's lots of people who are saying, like, even though she probably has been tested and she's tested negative now, the effects of taking performance enhancing drugs in the past carries on into your future career. So is she still feeling the benefits from cheating?
Well, what is the punishment for, the guy who won Sydney marathon last year? So what's happened to him? What's his punishment been? 4 years again, or is he lifetime?
I think he got an 8-year ban, I think.
And what about the Kiwi guy? Is it Robinson? Is that what the name is?
Yeah, he got a big old ban. Yeah, I can't remember exactly the time of his.
Is the severity of the ban based on the evidence or based on the?
I'm not entirely sure. It must be case to case of what they actually give you as ban. I think the shortest ban for taking it is 4 years, and that's what she got. But I just think it's a bit dodgy that she tried to blame a burrito.
Yeah, you don't see many cows like in the Olympics running the 3,000. Pippin Ingebrigtsen to the gold.
Yeah.
Maybe she'd have a point if there was a.
Because the nandrolone that she got popped for is a steroid. It's an anabolic steroid.
Yeah.
So she was saying that it was from an American cow that had been pumped with steroids, but there's no proof, and the meat got tested from there and it wasn't.
That's a load of absolute.
It's a load of balls. But
because I wonder if you hold your hands up and say yes, I cheated, the punishment is more severe. So I know it's. I wonder if she's thinking, no, I'm gonna plead innocence.
Yeah. I would say if you hold your hand up, then it would be less severe.
Because that's what you'd think, but
it's just
it doesn't look good, does it?
No.
And she came second, did you say?
Yeah.
In the first race back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and this is the crazy thing. So she'd been banned for 4 years. All of her sponsors dropped her, so she's now unsponsored. But in her first couple of races, she ran a couple of indoor races and was running really fast, and then did she come first or second in the American indoor champs, which then got her a place at the World Indoors and has come second at World Indoors after not racing for 4 years. So she's not raced, and all of a sudden she's straight back into racing and racing really well. She's not been away. So is that a bit dodgy, or is it just she's really good? I don't know.
Yeah, the problem is there's always going to be question marks over her now forever.
Yeah.
So you essentially ruin your own career, don't you?
Yeah. And if she is, well, I'm not saying not saying she's taken, because she's obviously been tested and she's fine now. But if you think about it, she's taking away places from people who haven't ever cheated.
Yeah.
So she's taken away a run at the World Indoor Championships away from somebody who has worked their ass off to get where they are. So
I think,
is that really fair?
I don't know, a lifetime ban. A lifetime ban is harsh, is severe, but I think it also, unfortunately, sends a message out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Don't even consider it, because the game's over.
Yeah.
You know, before, you know, like, I don't know if she was winning golds and podiuming before she got done. I don't know. But no one's ever going to trust her ever again, are they? So it's going to be hard to give her a sponsorship, and it's going to be hard to. Yeah. So and she could be squeaky clean, and still
exactly. And as a sponsor, so as a brand, would you want somebody who is a confirmed drug cheat? Yes, years ago, but would you want them advertising, and would you want to be shouting about them in your kit?
No. She might be okay to be sponsored by like Taco Bell or Chiquitos or something, but I don't know. It's a. I mean, looking at her kit here, I can't quite see what it is. Is it Brooks? Maybe she's wearing. I can't see now, but
yeah. Let's have a quick look. I just know she's not got any sponsors, because basically all of her sponsors dropped her.
Yeah.
But as they would, if you get caught for cheating, you deserve to lose all your sponsorship, really, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. So what happened to Lance, by the way? Did Lance ever hold his hands up and say, "Yep, you got me"?
Lance Armstrong.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah,
he did confess. Yeah.
When he got caught, he went on to Oprah Winfrey's like TV show and did a whole like long discussion and confession about it, and said exactly what was going on. But he said at the time, he said that's what happened in cycling. If you'd have tested the peloton at the Tour de France in all of those years when he was doping, every single person would have got popped.
Really?
Yeah, because books have come out. I read a book, and it was one of Lance Armstrong's teammates, and he said, it describes in detail exactly the lengths they went to cheat the system and beat the testing and all of that sort of stuff. And the way they were doing it was crazy, because what they were doing was they were doing blood transfusions on the bus. So when they'd finish a race, they would get onto the coach and they'd have like blood transfusion bags. So they would replace their blood with oxygenated blood to help them recover and be better for the next day. It was crazy. But he went into detail about all the things they were doing. But he basically said, if I wasn't doing this, I would have been at the back of the peloton. I wouldn't have been able to compete. And that was the pressure that was on him. It was he didn't want to cheat, and he didn't want to take all of these performance enhancing drugs. But if he didn't, he wouldn't have been able to compete, because everybody was taking them. Yeah.
Well, you know, my coach from Worcester, Christina Boxer. So she's the 15 and 800 meters were her events, and she's been to 3 Olympics. And I don't know which one it was, whether it was 84 or 80. I can't remember. But she said one of the Olympics, she got really, really close to the podium, but the people in front of her were someone like Romania, USSR, or Soviet Union, whatever it was called at the time, and Eastern Bloc countries. And she said testing doping over there at the time was almost they just turned a blind eye to it. Or it was they couldn't test for it. I don't know what it was.
It was government led. So the Russian government were helping all of the athletes cheat.
Yeah. So Chris said she couldn't get near the medals. She couldn't get near because of the cheating that was going on.
Yeah.
And
have you ever seen the documentary film called Icarus?
No, I need to watch that. I haven't seen it.
It's so good.
So does that talk about the Russian?
So basically the whole story is it's an amateur cyclist, and he wants to see how much he can improve by taking performance enhancing drugs as an amateur, right?
Wow.
So he tries to find out who he can get in touch with to get these drugs, get like the EPO and stuff and things like that. And by doing that, he then starts to unravel. It gets in touch with certain people and certain doctors, and then it starts to unravel, and he goes into this deep dive and finds out all this information about how the Russians were cheating and the whole systematic.
He became a massive whistleblower for cheating, basically, or something, right?
It's crazy. The things they were doing, it was mental.
Well, from a government point of view, if you win more medals and you start placing higher on podiums, you'll eventually be given the Olympic Games, which could be a massive money spinner for the government, could be a massive source of revenue for the country. And of course, that money's lining the back pockets of those government officials. So you can see how that's how, like, when I think about the Qatar World Cup and Saudi have just been given it, I shouldn't really be, it should be, football should be inclusive, but come on, a World Cup in Saudi Arabia, come on. Like, it's going to be 48 degrees. It's going to have to be a Winter World Cup again. Have they even got 15 stadiums to use? Like Qatar, it was like basically like a Disneyland of, I don't know what's happened to those stadiums now. They've probably been knocked down and turned into palaces for the Qatari royal family by now. I don't know. But just think the rest of the footballing world, and it's the same with the Olympics. It's like there are countries here that would kill for just good, to put on the Olympic Games or to put on, and you're putting them in places where it's financially viable for certain people. And I don't know, and I've never really been a fan of that, but you can see how it happens. I can totally see that. And the fact that it's government incentivized, it makes it so much worse.
Yeah. But that's why Russia have been banned from the Olympics and all world athletics and everything like that, haven't they? Because of that whole thing.
When you watch the Olympics, I remember watching it in Paris last year. There was a country that didn't have a flag, and it was called some 3 little letters or something like that. And it was like if you didn't have a country that that competes in the Olympics, you could compete under this country. Like maybe you're a political, what do you call it? If you're a refugee, or if you've fled your country for war, you could. I can't remember what that was called. Do you remember what that was called?
Yeah, I can't off the top of my head. No.
But like, so some Russian athletes, for example, could compete, couldn't they?
Yeah,
but not under the guise of Russia.
Yeah, and I think they don't reside or live in Russia. I think they live somewhere else, but obviously can't compete for that country where they live.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm sure it was called the International something. I can't find. I'll have to. Maybe someone listening is screaming out of the. Here we go. The AIN. Currently, Russia and Belarus are banned for competing as countries in the Olympics due to their involvement in the war in Ukraine, though athletes from those countries can compete as AIN, individual neutral athletes. So that's what that country was called, AIN. It's like a country with no country sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're saying that Russia were banned from the Olympics because of the war in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's. I mean, this is AI overview, so I've just googled that. So whether that's true or not, I'm not sure.
Because they did get banned originally because of all the doping and everything that was going on. So, not sure, but yeah. Going back to Shelby Houlihan, it's crazy how many people are celebrating the fact she's back, because if that was someone from another country and not America, would America be celebrating that they're back as much? For instance, like Mo Katir. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah, no, Mo Katir, yeah.
So he got done, and he's serving a ban.
Is he an ASICS runner?
I'm not sure.
I have seen him. He's a fast runner, isn't he? Yeah.
But he used to run the 1500 and 5000, and he always used to compete well with Jakob and stuff. Can you imagine when he comes back? Would the Americans be celebrating the fact that he's back, or will they still see him as a cheat?
Yeah.
Is it really on a level playing field? Just because she's American, is she getting a bit of a easier ride and an easier deal?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of that controversial subject.
Yeah.
On to more news from World Indoors. So the men's 3,000 meters. Jakob won his first, I think it's his first World Indoor medal in the 3,000 meters. He won it in 7:46, and he had a good kick down race in the last lap with Aragawi, who came second, and then in third was Kai Robinson from Australia. And then in the 1,500 meters, Jakob completed the double. So he did the double at the European and he did the double at the Worlds. So he won the 1,500 meters. Wasn't the quickest of races. They set off quite slowly, and then he just picked it up towards the end. Finished in 3:38. But in second was Neil Gorley, who was very unlucky at the Euros because he got tripped up during the 1,500 meters in the Euros and ended up coming fourth. But he actually got what he deserved in this race. So Neil Gorley from Scotland and GB got second, and then Luke Hauser from United States came third. And then in the 1,500 meters for the women, Sege, Gudaf Sege won it in 3:54, which is super quick for a women's 1,500 indoor race. And then I'm trying to remember who came second, but Georgia Bell bounced back from her issues at Europeans, and she came in third, so she got a bronze. I'm trying to think who came second. I can't remember. I should have written it down, but for some known reason, I've only written down Sege that came first for that one. I have no idea why. There we go. Welteji, Deribe Welteji took silver, and then Georgia Bell came third.
Right.
But both of those broke 4 minutes as well. They came in 3:59. So yeah, some
very impressive.
Some good results. So the our UK team managed to get a couple of medals in the 1,500 meters, which was brilliant.
Yeah, very good.
But next on the list of like professional races that are exciting is this weekend. We are over in Kingston in Jamaica for the first Grand Slam track.
When's that?
This weekend.
This weekend, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, exciting! When's kickoff? What?
I think it's a 3-day event, so I think it starts. Oh, does it start today?
Oh, that sounds interesting. I'll have to do a bit of research about that.
Yeah, I
See
think
if I
it might
can-
start today because I think it's a 3-day event. So yeah, that should be interesting. That's going to be a good watch, I think. So we've got the likes of the exciting one for me is the 8-15 category for the men. So
Yeah.
we've got the people who are signed up as the Grand Slam athletes. We've got Josh Kerr, Yared Nuguse, Cole Hocker, and then the 800 meter guy. What's his name? Marco Arop. So we've got 3 1500 meter runners and an 800 meter runner racing in the 800 and 15 together. So that should be really interesting. And then obviously we've got other people coming in. I think Neil Gourley is racing in that as well in the first one. He's one of the challengers. And am I right in thinking the guy who won the 800 meters at the Olympics, I think he's a challenger as well.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his name is. No, not Wenjoji.
Wanjiru.
Yes, that's him. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So yeah, that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, that sounds good. I have to do a bit of research and find out when that starts because I wouldn't mind watching some of that. Sounds good.
Oh, okay. Hang on. It's not this weekend. I've just gone to their Instagram. It's not this weekend. It starts on April the 4th. When's April the 4th? Okay. What day is that?
Next week.
Is that next week? April the 4th.
That's,
oh yeah, next Friday. So next Friday.
Yeah, a week today. Yeah.
So not this weekend, next weekend. But that's the next next exciting thing. So,
cool.
Yeah, this time next week we'll be watching stuff over in Jamaica, which will be exciting.
Sounds really cool. Yeah, sounds really good. Before we get started to chat about, because I did a race last week, which I wouldn't mind having a quick chat about.
Yeah.
And a race with some other legends as well, who will shout out. But I wanted to just do a quick the return of a very, very popular feature, Shoes News.
Yeah.
So the feature that no one asked for. A few people have actually given me some shoes news this week.
Excellent.
So, which I'm quite pleased with. So I'm going to start off with Tommy D. So Tommy D, as we know, big fan of North Korean culture like me, is also a fan of the Super Blast 2s.
Oh, okay.
He's just quickly said the Super Blast 2s are absolutely ridiculous. Finally got some marathon pacing yesterday and it felt incredible. This is bearing in mind that Tommy D's had a bit of a mid to late marathon Boston training block sort of injury. So he's sort of taken his foot off the gas, but he's getting back on it now. So his taper might have inadvertently started a bit early for him. The stability for a high stack is bonkers, and not once did I fear for my dodgy knee or twisting an ankle. Comfort is also next level. So there you go. Okay. The Super Blast 2. We had another one. I've got 3 in total. So this one is from, if I can find it, Rob Mackey. Rob has written in and said, he sent me a DM and he said, "Hey Andy, love the podcast. Just listen on the bus home from college where you're talking about looking at the DV8 Nitro 3s. Well, hold off for a few weeks because the Fast R3s will be out next month. And they're incredible if you're not in a major rush." Now, I did a little bit of digging into that, and they have, this is due to a few Reddit threads that I saw. They have somehow cut a load of weight out of the Fast R3s. I don't know if the weight of the actual plate or the foam, I don't know how they're doing it, but people are saying that it's like a game changer. They're saying it could be the lightest super shoe ever. So that would be one to watch out for. So that looks like quite an interesting one. And the last one is from Sam, who is AKA Lighted Up on YouTube, who as well. He's on the injury list, unfortunately, at the moment.
I did see that. His hip's gone, hasn't it?
Yeah. So he's in for Manchester, all being well, at the end of April. So hopefully he can make a recovery and get there.
Yeah,
But-
well, in his posts and in his video, he's on crutches at the moment.
Yeah, but
So-
I think he's maybe thinking it is a possibility. So yeah, I'm wishing you all the
Yeah, definitely.
all the recovery in the world, and I hope you I hope you can make it to the start line. But above all, hope that the was it a fracture? I think it might have been a stress fracture. I can't remember what exactly what it was, but I hope that you're healing well. And
Well, he had a stress fracture in the past on the other side, I think it was, and he said it felt similar, and that's
Yeah.
why he's called it off and has been on the crutches to try and make it so it's not as severe. Try and not run through it and make it any worse.
Okay. Well, he said this is he's kept it nice and short, which is ideal for shoes news. Adios Pro 4, squishy, fast, better size up, PB incoming.
Amazing.
So that's what he said. So
perfect.
Do you find the Pro 4s sort of fit a bit snugly, or is it just because they taper in slightly towards the toe? Is that what it is?
I haven't run in them yet, but when I've tried them on, I'd say lengthwise they're exactly the same as the Pro 3, lengthwise, but I'd say the toe box is slightly narrower than the Pro 3. They fit more like the Pro 2.
Yeah. So maybe that's what Sam means. He's like, obviously they're a bit thinner, so maybe a bit more tapered towards the toe. So maybe half a size up might be an option for people looking for that.
If you've got slightly wider feet, yeah. But I don't think Adidas are particularly good for people with wide feet anyway, because all their shoes are quite sleek and narrow, aren't they? In the upper.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Not
Nike are probably better for a wider foot.
Yeah.
Feel,
some are more forgiving than others. Like the Pro 3, there was loads of room in that toe box, but the Pro 4 has gone back to more of a fitted sort of profile. But,
so
I've got.
But that's the end of shoes news. So if you've got any, okay,
it's not. Because I'm just going to say we had a comment on the video last week from Kieran Turner. Who said shoes news update. 28k of easy running, about 3 hours ish. Seemed to get me through okay, and legs felt decent Monday morning. Shall be keeping them. Cheers, fellas.
This is the Magmax.
Yes.
The Puma Magmax, I think he's referring to. Okay.
Yeah, so he shall be keeping them because they felt decent.
Good. If you've got any shoes news, shoes new or old, probably better if they're news because it's news, not olds. But if they are, if you do have anything to write in about, keep it short and sweet, and we shall read it out.
Amazing.
So yes, thank you very much.
Next on the world of running news, a bit closer to home though, rather than all the pros and all of them running world championships and stuff. We have Chloe Hamard, who ran the Malaga half on last weekend, and she was going there to try and run a sub 85. Was she? That was a target, wasn't it?
That was the plan. Yeah.
So her target was to run a sub 85. She came away from the Malaga half with a sub 84 and very close to 83. She ran an 83.19, which is incredible. I think that was a 2 minutes and 22 second PB.
Yeah. Which,
to take that much off on your half PB is amazing.
I think that's really, really impressive because I'm pretty sure I read from her Strava or Instagram that she'd never even trained to run that fast. She'd obviously been trained doing reps faster, but she'd only ever done, 2K at that pace, in one go. So to run 21K at that pace, I think all her Ks were under 4 minutes a K, I think. So
something like that, yeah.
So really, really impressive.
It's amazing. She said her target for the end of the year was to run sub 84, and she's done it in the first 3 months of the year.
That's so impressive. I wonder if she was wearing her Pro 4s, because I know she's bought some. Was she?
Yeah, she was for that race. Yeah, she wasn't sure to go for it because she said she has in other races had a bit of discomfort in them. But she was going to roll the dice, and she said she didn't feel any discomfort until the last couple of K in the race.
Yeah.
So yeah, they seem to work for her, and she said she was really pleased with shoe choice because they work so well and they felt so good.
I mean, the way Chloe does it, I mean, maybe there's something in that, because she goes to these hot foreign cities, twice a year, runs faster than the time before it, and then books another one.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the way to do it, rather than like I do it, which is like one every week, or run a handful of races during a training block. But yeah, she's got it sussed. I think she just goes to Malaga or Valencia, and she runs really well. So Spain and Chloe seem to vibe really well, I think.
Yeah,
running fast. Yeah,
but amazing work, Chloe. Well done.
Very well done.
And then you have possibly got the information about our good friend Beardy Rich.
Yes, so Beardy Rich ran the Sheffield half marathon, which I didn't think looked that bad. I don't know what all the fuss was about. And then I've just looked at the elevation for it, and it looks sickening. So it looks like the first 5 miles to sort of 8K, that sort of thing, all uphill, and not just like a little bit. It looks really, really hard uphill. So Rich told me that bear in mind, he's aiming for about a 4:05 per kilometer, which I guess is about a 6:35 per mile, something like that, 6:40, maybe slightly over that. He said one of his kilometers towards the end of the hill was nearly 5 minutes a K, which, might not sound very slow to a lot of people, but for him, that's like 8 minute miling, which is something he would never run. But the hill slows you down that much. You've almost got no choice. But he has raised a question. Bear in mind, Beardy Rich ran a massive PB. I think it's about a minute. And he did 1:26:41.
Didn't he say he almost ran a 10K PB on the way back as well in the second half because of the downhill was so steep?
Well, that's his question, because he did run a 10-kilometer PB, and he wonders if it counts because it's officially measured during the course, a 10K marker, 10K split. However, once you get to the top of the hill, the descent or the elevation loss is something like 200 meters. So he said, in his words, get to the top of the hill, try not to die, and then it's free fall to the finish line.
Yeah.
So does that count?
I am going to go out on a limb and say, unfortunately, no. Number one, because it's downhill. So you can't really count a downhill race as a PB. So like if a course was net downhill, it can't be claimed as for like a world record or a British record or anything like that. So first of all, no, because it's downhill. Second of all, although there's a marker to show where 10K is, and there's official markers, unless you have an official timing mat to give you a 10K split, then you can't really claim it because it's still just off your watch and your GPS.
But I think he said, I know, I guess what you're saying, but he's got an official 10K split that says 38 something. So I don't know what his first half was, probably closer to 40.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he did a massive negative split, because if you're going to do a negative split, do the Sheffield half marathon, because you've almost got no choice. I think it's just built that way. It's uphill first half, very uphill, and then very downhill second. So yeah, I wish I could find his. 'Cause it's written on his. If you type in Richard Evans, it should come up. But I'm just trying to find out how to do it. Yeah, let's have a look. I was just typing Beardy Rich then. No wonder it didn't come up. Right, here he is. Okay, so his chip time is 1:26:41. And he got an outdoor city timed 10K time. I don't know why it's called that, of 38:43 for the 10K, which I think would be a PB. So I think the point is, if you want to take it, you can take it. No one's really going to care. No. But I think you're setting yourself up for a fall if you use that as a 10K PB, because the chance of beating that is...
That's what I was about to say is
yeah.
If you do take that as your PB, next time you go and try and race a PB and it's not downhill and it's flat, you are going to have to run out of your skin to get anywhere close to that.
Yeah, but yeah, a massive well done, because
incredible.
By looks of things, it's a really, really difficult course, and he looks like I know he did a really, really good run on that particular run. So congratulations, Beardy Rich.
Well done, Rich. Then next is Matt Haslam. Ran a half the other day, didn't he, as well? And
he's a machine, isn't he?
I know, massive PB as well of 1:20, was it? So
1:20:32. That's according to his chorus. I don't know what his chip time was, but it says 1:20:32 here.
Yeah.
And that was at the Wilmslow half.
Wilmslow half, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
And this is bearing in mind as well. I'm sure Matt said in about July last year, I can't remember for what reason, but he'd sort of fallen off the wagon, maybe, with his fitness. And he was struggling to do a 23-minute 5K. Then subsequently, over the back end of summer and towards Christmas, put loads of hard 5K training in and brought it down to about 19 low. And now I think he's back in the 18s, I think, for his 5K.
Nice.
And then he went and do a half marathon, and he's just absolutely smashed it.
Here we go.
1:20:32.
No, chip time was 1:20:30.
Yeah, amazing.
And he negative split it, apparently.
Wow.
Which is incredible. So, awesome work, Matt.
Yeah, that's really, really... So, Matt, if you don't follow Matt, I think his channel's called Matt Runs 18.
Yes.
His content is sort of 50-50 split between his job and his hard training. And you'd think, maybe I'd just like to watch the running stuff. But once you find out how fascinating his job is, I find it really therapeutic to just watch and learn a little bit about his job. And he's a bus driver in Manchester.
Yeah.
And
he's changed to that like in the last year, hasn't he? Because he used to work on building sites and stuff. And things. And then he's retrained and become a bus driver in Manchester.
Yeah. And he'll film a lot about the daily challenges and the daily duties of a bus driver. And you think things that you take for granted, you think, wow, that's actually really quite a hard job. And also put on top of that, the really tough, hard training he does as well, including like 2 a.m. intervals.
I was going to say
things like that.
O'clock at night. Yeah.
Yeah. So, absolutely thrilled for him that he got a good result. So Matt seems to deal with burnout by just like being an absolute monster, just like waking up at 2 a.m. and just smashing down any wall that's in his way.
Yeah.
So love it. Love to see it. So good work from Matt.
Amazing work. Before because I think we should talk about your race and the people that also raced after we talk about your training week. But another couple of things that I did want to mention is there have been a couple of injuries, which isn't. That's always a bad thing to talk about. So obviously we talked about Sam and his hip, which possibly has took him out of Manchester.
Yeah.
Touch wood and fingers crossed. It's only going to take a few days of rest and he'll be back on it. But Adam Neal has done something to his knee. So the same problem as he had in his last marathon block when he was training for York last year. He's managed to damage his knee. So he's going to have to take a couple of days off, which is a bit annoying. But it's one of those things. He raced. Actually,
Stafford, wasn't it?
That's what I need. That was something else I needed to mention. Was Adam and Dan running Stafford half, which they both run a PB.
Yeah.
And a huge PB. Let me find it. What's he changed his Instagram to now? I can't remember. I think he's changed his Instagram name. Can you remember what he's changed it to?
Was it the Antiquities of something?
Yeah.
Well, what I can do is I can just quickly jump on.
Should we go to Strava? And then we go to Strava and find him on there.
Right.
I knew there was something I'd forgot, and it was to write this down. But add. There we go. So at Worcester half last year, he ran his PB, and he ran 1:30 and a few seconds.
Yeah,
he was going for a 1:30, 1:35, I think he was going for, and ended up running a 1:30 in a few seconds.
Yeah.
At Stafford, you can tell that the marathon training's paying off. He ran a 1:23.55. So that's like 6 and a bit minutes off his PB.
I'm just looking now. He's finished in 63rd position, Adam has.
Yeah.
1:23.55.
That's over 6 minutes off his PB.
Yeah. That's in 6 months.
Yeah.
A minute a month.
That's mad.
How'd you do that? How does anyone do that?
Which is crazy. And his brother Dan, I'm pretty sure he ran a 1:26.
Yeah,
and
1:26.17.
And that's the first time Dan has broke 1:30 as well. So that's 4 minutes off his PB.
And he's got in the top 100. He's finished 96.
Which is incredible. So both of them ran an absolute blinder. But after that race, I saw him at work on Tuesday, and I said, "How are you pulling up after the race?" And he said, "Oh yeah, pretty good. I'm going to take this week a bit easier though." And I said, "Okay, cool. Remember, you need to recover properly after the half. Please, when you say take it easy, take it easy." And he said, yeah, okay. I might just do one session this week, like on Tuesday. When I saw him on Tuesday, he said tonight, and then like easy runs for the rest of the week. And I went, okay. So if you are going to do tonight's session, just whatever you do, no faster than marathon pace. Just take it nice and easy. He went down to the track and was smashing out 5K pace and quicker. And there, all of a sudden, he's got a knee issue come back. So, it's unfortunate, but he's not going to lose any fitness from having a couple of days off. possibly in a couple of days, it'll all sort itself out and it's just a little niggle. So he's not going to lose any fitness, and he just needs to be positive and think about the things that he has done right, and at the fact that his training's paying off, as you can see from Stafford Half. And fingers crossed he'll be back to full fitness soon. So yeah, quick recovery and get back out there and get smashing it again.
Are both the Neils in for Edinburgh? Or
yes.
Just...
So they're hopefully running it together, and they're both going for around 3:05, somewhere around there, 3:05, 3:10ish, somewhere around there.
Well, the evidence looks good for that, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it should be good. But yeah, rest up, Ad, and get back soon. But the other injury news is quite it's
devastating
one, really. It is.
It is.
And it is TQ. So Todd Quiney, and on a run the other night, he managed to, did you say he clipped a curb?
He tripped over his python.
We shouldn't laugh, but
we shouldn't. Sorry, mate.
He tripped over a curb and he broke the 5th metatarsal in his foot. So he is now in a splint boot, and it means he is out of Manchester Marathon. And the worst part about it is he had to miss Manchester Marathon last year because of an injury, and it's happened again. I am absolutely gutted for you, TQ.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Yeah, it's so he is hitting the gym hard because of that. It's going to get massive. He'll come out at the end of this and he'll be huge. He'll look like a triangle, just a massive top half and tiny skinny leg.
Like Eddie Hall.
Yeah. But quick recovery, TQ. That's absolutely gutting to hear that you are out of Manchester. I was really looking forward to seeing you get up there.
I think he even said he did it on one of his easy days as well. Like, and I bet you he just keeps replaying it over and over and over. And I just can't imagine how frustrated you must feel. But there must be it's not happened to me, but like the injury blues must be so depressing, especially when you're coming into marathon season. I'm sorry, Todd, I'm not trying to rub salt into the wound, but it must be so tough to, be seeing everyone start to do their marathons and stuff. But
well, I mean, what are we? We're just over 4 weeks away. It'll be 4 weeks on Sunday until Manchester and London. And so he's already done most of the training block, and then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, that happens.
Yeah, absolutely gutting, mate. That really is.
But quick recovery, mate, and get in the gym and smash it and get massive.
Yeah. Well, I saw one of the Q boys representing the Q on the run last week. I saw Ryan at the Wolverhampton 10K. It was really nice to meet up with Ryan, and so maybe we should have a chat about the Wolves 10K, or do you want to talk through?
I was going to say, do you want to go through training week? What do you mean?
We might run out of time, aren't we? We're at 1:17. We haven't even started talking about the race.
We'll be all right.
Comments, emails, Strava segment.
We'll struggle to get everything in. But do you want to go through your training week, and we'll finish off your training week with the Wolves 10K? So go through your training week, skip over the race, and then we'll go to the race at the end.
Okay. Well, actually, because I was feeling a bit rough, I haven't run a hell of a lot, so it should be fairly quick. So I started from last Saturday morning. I did Parkrun. I went up to Wire Forest again, and I met Laura and I met Sam and Lou up there, and obviously you came, and it was it was a good foot. I love the Wire Forest Parkrun just because it's so tough. But it's a combination between being tough and really nice place to run. Yeah. So really enjoyed that. Sam and I we ran that together, did about 27.5 minutes. So kept it nice and steady.
And then did an old guy on the line.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
If it's not 12-year-old kids, it's 70-year-old men.
We just prey on the weak and the vulnerable. But it was so funny because we were taking it so easy. But then that finish line just has I don't know, just does something to you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And we were coming around that final left corner and Sam said, "We're doing him," as if we were about to attack him. I was like, "Yeah, go on then." And I didn't realize he was like 70 years old. But then we looked at the results when we got back and it was like, age category 75 to 79. And he's called Terence. So, no hard feelings, Terence. It felt good. It felt really good.
As you went past, you go, "Sorry, Tezza. Sorry."
Yeah, soz, mate. Sorry, Tezza. So you might see him again. But that was good fun. So I did enjoy that one. And then we did a warm down, didn't we? Just run around the forest, did a few, what was that, like 3K? Well, you did a bit extra, didn't you?
Yeah,
did 5K, didn't you?
extra, yeah.
Then I did the race Sunday morning, having felt the best that I'd felt for 7 days. So I was thinking, shouldn't I do this race? But to be honest, the shouldn't I was never really in my
Of course
thoughts.
It wasn't.
No, I know. So
it's like I watched your latest video yesterday, and whilst I was on the cross trainer, and after Laura picks you up from your aborted half marathon run, when you get in the car, she goes, "Look, you don't have to do parkrun tomorrow. It's not like parkrun set in stone. You don't have to do it." And you could tell on your face the whole time she was saying that, you were like, "I'm just ignoring you. I'm going parkrun tomorrow."
I don't know how I'm still married to her because I just don't listen to her. I'm just so ignorant and just do what I think I should do. But luckily got away with that one. Parkrun went fairly well. But yeah, sometimes loads of people have been writing saying you need to take 5 days off, you need to take a week off. But you just ain't gonna, are you? You're just not gonna.
No.
And I hate being a slave to the graph, to the block, but that's what I am. And I just need to get my days, my running in. I'll compensate with effort by taking things easy. And not doing parkrun was unfortunately not an option. But anyway, got back from the race on Sunday afternoon. I did another 10K, which was nice and easy, which actually felt really, really nice. So I got the Wolves 10K up my legs. And then didn't run on the Monday. So I had Monday off. And then Tuesday, I did a recovery. And instead of doing my usual 12, 14K, I only did 6 because I did a double day. So I went down to club. I went down to the Worcester AC. And we did a road session on Tuesday night. And I felt, I wouldn't say sharp, but again, I felt like I was ready to run well. So
yeah,
we did 5 by 800s, and this is around the car park at the Worcester County Hall. And you think, oh, that sounds a bit dull and boring, but the route that we do is quite an interesting route, and it's quite up and down as well. So it's a little bit challenging with a couple of the gradients. So it is quite an interesting 800. So we did 5 800s there, and we kept it. I can't remember what pace we did it to. I think we kept it to about under 4 minutes a K, so under that 626 mileage pace. And that was good. And then we did 360-meter uphill strides at the end. Yep. And I did a best pace of 144 a K. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But Merv and I just were like side by side, and we were just absolutely smashing it up the hills. And then we did a nice cool down as well. So that was good fun. And then didn't run Wednesday. Thursday went and did a hill run with Daisy. Just did 5 miles at the Malverns. Nice and easy, nice and chilled. We had some nice weather as well, so that was quite good. First run up the Malverns this year without needing a jacket. So I think that's quite positive.
Oh, amazing.
Quite positive. But I got to the top and it was really windy, and I thought, I could probably have done with a jacket. And then last night was my last, because I haven't run yet. Last night I did a track session with Worcester again, because it looks like I'm going to be starting to do Tuesday and Thursday club nights rather than just Wednesdays. And nice easy warm up, and then we did a good 10 minutes of drills, which is a really, I can't explain the difference between the two clubs I've joined, how heavily they emphasize doing drills before club nights. It's 10 to 15 minutes of drills, and it's so meticulous, it's slow, it's methodical, but it's really, really interesting. Again, me and Merv were like the oldest there, and even the youngsters are well on board. There's no ego there. No one thinks they're above drills. You know what I mean? Like, no, everyone's in it.
It's getting your body prepared for what you're about to do with it. Yeah. How are your A skips and your B skips at the moment?
I'm loving the skips. So I don't know the difference to the A and Bs. Is that when you're on the ball of your feet? On the ball of your foot, and you've got straight legs.
So the A skips is basically where you hop on the one foot whilst your other knee is just coming up. And then your B skips are where you do the same, but you kick your leg out forward as well.
Okay. Yeah. So we do different skips, and then we turn them into strides.
How's your coordination with the skips? Because I know it took me quite a while to get my head into the game of how to get your body to do those skips and get your leg to kick out and all sorts.
When there's 20 odd of us or whatever is at club, I'm always at the back because I'm always copying what others are doing, because I don't want to be the old man at the front basically getting it all wrong. So I basically just copy what the kids are doing. But it all feels a bit odd doing those drills. But very, very, and we work so much on arms as well, because they're so mainly especially the kids there. Some of them I'm not saying kids because some of them are 15, 16. Some of them are so fast, and they really do instill into you, if you're doing speedy stuff, how important your upper body and your core and your arms are. So we do a lot of arm stuff, a lot of arm rotations, and they really, it's all about your drive and that sort of thing. Yeah. So it is really, really eye-opening, really.
That's why I always say about when you're going uphill, pumping your elbows, because having that motion of pumping your elbows helps propel you forward. So when you're doing the speedier stuff, it is in the upper body as well as the bottom.
Yeah. But because of the club are doing road relays this week, they did a lower intensity session. So it was 300s at whatever pace you wanted to do, really. But we went out at, I'm talking like a track runner now. We were doing 64-second 300s.
Yeah.
And it would be 100 recovery straight into the next rep, and then a 3-minute rest. One of the girls we were running with is doing the race on Saturday, so she only did one set, and then me and Merv carried on and did the rest. We were trying to hit 62 to 64 seconds for the 300s, and then we would finish with Merv did a 55-second 300, and I did a 58 seconds. So I was really just wanting to get underneath 60. So that's 350, 309 a K. Well, according to Garmin anyway. So that's fast for me.
Hang on, 300.
Somewhere between 315 and 309.
300, and you did it in what, 58?
58, yeah.
So if we say 60, what's that? That's a 120, so an 80-second lap. So an 80-second lap is 320 a K.
Oh, 320 is it? Okay. So, that's my. For some reason, it thinks I was running uphill, 3 meters uphill. So that's why I think it's giving me a gap pace. Yeah. But it says 315 for the. I'll tell you why, because I only did 0.29 for that rep.
Okay.
So maybe that's why. But it's quick, 320 a K. I mean, we were running 325, 330s. I think we were, but I wasn't even looking at my watch. I was just trying to focus on the cadence and the feel of how that effort feels around a 300. So that was really good. And then at the end, because there was only 2 of us running the reps, the rest of them were doing the because when we go to club, there are 2 sub groups, if you know what I mean. There's the endurance lot, and then there's the speedy lot.
Yeah.
The speedy lot are the 800, the 1500 runners, and then we are the endurance lot. And normally, from what I understand, and most people at the club, they're not really marathon runners. A lot of people are 5K specific, 10K, But obviously the top end stuff is good for you, isn't it? No matter what pace you want to, not whatever distance you're trying to run. And then this girl had a PB of 17 minutes for the 5K. So we were running with Emma, and she just did the one set. And Merv's PB is 19 flat, and mine's 1938, which I haven't got near for nearly 3-4 months. So just trying to run to that pace. I wasn't really interested in pace. It was just trying to run as a group, because I really want to use these sessions to push myself rather than run to my watch and bury my head in my watch. I want to run with other faster people than me, because I'm the slowest there. And I don't like that, to be honest. And I don't want to be on my own. So I want to try and run with faster runners and keep up with them. Even if it means I'm breathing horrendously and all that sort of stuff, I would still rather try and keep up with the group than struggle around on my own. So it's just about being stubborn, isn't it? So that's what I did. And probably had the best track session of my life. I really genuinely enjoyed it, even though it was only 300 meter reps. And at the end, because it was just me and Merv left, because the rest of them had gone home, we had our own little stretching session with the two coaches, who said, right, come on, you've done a hard session now. You need to make sure. Did a couple of laps around the track, but what I mean around the outside of the track, so not even on the track. And then, we just the coaches were literally saying, "Oh, just move your foot forward," just making sure, just literally calf stretches against the bar. Chris was saying, "Just straighten up your feet for me, Andy," and really focusing on us, and little things like, since I've changed club, I can't tell you the difference that I feel. Like the coaches, they all know my name already. They know my goals. They know my targets. They know where my pace is. They know my car, because my blooming car key fell out of my pocket. They said, "Does anyone drive a Mazda?" I said, "Oh God, yeah, it's mine." And so it's just like, I don't know. I just really enjoy the athletics club. I mean, there's people throwing javelins and hammers and stuff like that in the middle of the pitch. It just makes it feel like more of a training session. I really genuinely enjoy it. Yeah, really like it. So I'm having a really good time with them, and
good.
I'm going to get signed up to them for at least a year, and because I'm really enjoying it so far.
As I said, you'll be flying now. You've joined those, because it's the next step up, isn't it? So
I think so.
You got fast. Now you're going to get super fast.
I think so, yeah. I mean, like the Black Pear joggers that I was with, good club, really nice club, great club. But there were just probably too many people that would show up to track. And when I come to Worcester AC, it's a different feel. It feels like you're an athlete. You know what I mean? It feels like you've got almost one-to-one kind of style coaching, and it's I really enjoy it. So that's my week so far.
Right. Okay. So shall we go through the Wolves 10K, your race that you did on Sunday?
Yeah, let's. So I went there with the intention of forgetting the fact that I was ill or had been ill, and just trying to get as close to a PB as I could, which at the time, which still is 40 minutes and 55, because I ran Wolves in 41:25. So third fastest 10K of all time.
Nice.
Second fastest of the year. So I'm getting slower. But it was a harder course than Bourton, because
I was going to say all the second half was uphill, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it was I mean, I did know that. I did look at the course, and I knew it was going to be a much harder second half, because it's like a valley shape, really. You go downhill for the first 5K and then you come back up. But yeah, I did a 20:09 first 5K split, so quite pleased with that. I was trying to run 40 minutes, so I thought, right, if I can get as close to 20 as I can and just hold on, that's what I'm going to do. And then I just didn't hold on. I really struggled up the hills on the second half, but I remember 7-8K in thinking, I'm going to walk this. I'm going to have to walk this hill. It's too hard. It's too hard. I was getting overtaken left, right, and centre. Ego was through the floor, and I was thinking, I can't. I don't want to be here. Why did I even do this? Why did I was feeling like Safan Hassan. Why did I do this? What was I even thinking? I never cry, but today I was crying. And then I just sucked it up and just got on with it. I got up the hill, and fortunately, you get to the top of the hill at 8k, and then you've got about a k and a half, got about a mile running around West Park, which is where they do the Wolves Parkrun. It's just called West Park. Before you run up a little slope again, then to get into the Molineux for the finish. And I think that saved me really, because if it was all uphill, I think I would have had to walk. But that park was quite a nice way to recover. And so not quite the 10k that I wanted, but you get the race that you deserve, really, don't you? And you get the race.
Yeah.
A fast race especially shows you where you are and your fitness. You can't really fluke running. You especially can't fluke racing. You can maybe have that realization that you're in a better place than you thought you were, but when it's the opposite way, you think, oh, okay. I thought I was owed a bit more of a better time than that, but that's the thing, isn't it? It owes you nothing. You never are.
But to go from feeling terrible last weekend and then not being able to complete a long run on Friday to then racing and running your third fastest 10k ever on the Sunday, you've got to be happy with that.
I am, yeah. And of course, as you probably would be, when you see your watch as you come through the finish line, you think, I'm slightly disappointed because it's not quite what I wanted. But then when you realise, I've been up against it today. That was a really hard run, and I'm really glad that I got through it in the time that I did. So and I'm really glad that I fought the feeling of wanting to quit and just because from say 6k uphill, some of the hills were, I wouldn't say they're that bad. It's like we were talking about Altrincham, isn't it? A hill's never really that bad in training, is it? But on a race, at race pace, you feel a hill so much more the faster you go.
Yeah.
It's like the second time round or the third time round Ara Valley, the musical notes bit. It's nothing, is it? But when you're going 5k pace and you're 30 seconds from the end, and you're running on empty, that feels like that incline becomes a hill, doesn't it? But really, really pleased. And the race itself was good. It was a circular route. And Wolves, the good thing about the Wolves 10k was it wasn't a out and back. It was just a really good, it wouldn't say it's well supported. Some people did come out of the house. It wasn't great weather, so maybe that was why. But there was some decent support. And the start and finish from the Wolves ground from the Molineux was really unique. That was really good. And it was good that there was no half marathon on the day or 5k. It was just a 10k. So it was really really good fun. So all in all, did enjoy it. Yeah.
Ace. And so what did you say time was?
41:25. Yeah.
Ace. Yeah.
So the sub 40 does remain the target for 2025. I'm not going to put a date or a month on it because I'm still going to keep having a go at it every 10k I do. Yeah. So if I'm fit and healthy enough this summer to do 2 castles, I'm going to have a go there.
You've also got to remember you've got marathon training in your legs at the moment.
I know. Yeah.
So yes, you are getting quicker because you've got that marathon training in your legs, but you have also got a lot of training in your legs.
Yeah. So I wasn't fresh for it, like really.
Yeah.
So if anything, I was way sub fresh because I wasn't feeling that great. But I'm pleased with it. It was a good run. Yeah. I obviously positive splitted it, but
Yeah. Looking forward to 2 castles though. If you can break 40 on that, I'll be that would be
impressed.
Yeah. I'd be very impressed. That would be a race and a half. That would.
Yeah. But because obviously there's more uphill than down, isn't there? So I'm not expecting that, but I'm going to have a good go. And we'll see what happens
go for it. Definitely.
Yeah, and
cool.
But what was nice was I went out fast, and ran almost 20 minutes for the first 5K. So that was quite good because I haven't run that fast all year, really, apart from Bourton. So it was nice to run the first half of it quite well, if nothing else.
Yeah.
So yeah,
awesome. How far off that was Bourton's time? What did you run at Bourton?
I was 41:09, I think. So I was 15, 16 seconds over.
Not far off at all.
Yeah. So a couple of Ks, couple second per K, really.
Yeah.
So there or thereabouts. So
nice.
But yeah, so did enjoy it. I need to, if I do it again, I would definitely go harder at the start because it's going to be hard in the second half no matter what happens. So you may as well just go out fast down the hill.
Yeah, and hold on for dear life.
Yeah, that's what it would be. Yeah.
Good work. Amazing, mate.
We met a lot of folk down there, which was awesome. So just wanted to give a couple of shouts to a few folk.
Yeah, go for it.
It was really good for me in front of my nephew, who now thinks I'm like the Mr. Beast of Worcester, because a few people came up and said that they wanted a picture with me. And they were like, "Oh, I love the channel." And I was in front of my 10-year-old nephew, who now thinks I'm like a celebrity. So that was really. So thank you so much for everyone. And I did say these guys are paid actors, so don't. Yeah. Don't think that I am like a celebrity, but that was really nice, for a load of people that did come up and say hello. So I'm going to read a few of those guys out. So I'm going to start with a guy called Terry. I presume I'm saying your name right, Doherty, and he got 47:49. I had a chat with Terry during the warm up. I was just doing some strides and stuff, and we had a good chat about the race then. So well done, Terry. Phil Jordan, who is a big, long-time listener and supporter of our channels. And he was a really, really nice guy. So we had a chat. Yeah. I can't remember if we met before or just afterwards, but we definitely spoke afterwards. He did 45:06. No, we did see him before. Yeah.
Excellent.
So he did 45:06. So well done, Phil.
Yeah,
I met another guy called Ian Booth, who ran 43:14. And was very closely followed by another lad from Worcester who I know called Joe Stanley, who ran 43:18. So well done to you guys. And I was there with It's On Andy, right-hand man, Sam Bauer. Sam was there running the 10K as well. And he did it on his lead up because he's racing the first weekend of April, the Southampton Marathon. So he's kind of in his sort of taper stage, if he has a taper stage. I don't know if he does. So he ran it.
Does he even have a marathon training phase?
No, just a week. I think he just has one long run and then he just, marathon ready. So he did 43:52. He was running with the 45 pacer and he was like, his only aim was to not get beat by the 45 pacer and ran some really nice consistent splits. Nice. So yeah, and I also saw, I haven't got his time with me, I don't know if you have, Nathan Hampson.
Yeah, I have, yes. He came 20th overall in 35:55.
What a lad that guy is. He's a really nice guy and came and said hello just before we all got underway. And his progression, I saw on Instagram through the years, only 3 years, or 3 or 4 years of doing the race is absolutely bonkers. I'm just going to try and find it. So maybe you can just tell us what he finished the race in.
Yeah, so 35:55, broke 36 minutes. Fantastic running. Nathan's such a nice guy. We've met up at several races. I saw him first time I met him was the end of Manchester, where he broke 3 hours for the first time. And then saw him at Birmingham a couple of weeks afterwards, and he's now joined Tipton Harriers, so he's over with the Q boys, and I saw him at the cross country, and he's going to get even faster. I mean, I think the story has disappeared now, but he put it on a few days ago, showing his progression. I think he first did Wolverhampton 10K during the pandemic at I'm guessing it was about 43 minutes or something like that. Then the year after came back and broke 40. I think he did 39:38. And in between that, he might have done a slightly
just north of 40, and then he went and ran a 35. What was it?
35:55.
35:55. So that's very, very impressive. So yeah, very, very well done. He's called No Fun Running on Instagram if you want to go and follow him. So yeah, very, very well done. I saw a couple of B&R runners out there repping.
Yes,
the red and blue.
Yeah. So Pete Ball was there. He came 7th overall. So
nice,
amazing run from Pete. He came in with 33:31. So
wow.
Absolutely flying, Pete. Amazing work. Then in 22nd was Kieran Brooks, who also broke 36 minutes for the first time with 35:57.
Nice.
Which was awesome running. And Tom Richmond came 26th in 36:21, which was awesome. I think that was a PB as well. And then Jordan Adams came in 44th in 37:55. So another awesome run. And I think those three, Kieran, Tom, and Jordan, are all in they must be in their taper now because they're all running Newport? They're all running Newport. Yes.
Yeah. So, Jordan was telling me beforehand about Newport. So it's a fast and flat course. I mean, I don't know if they're planning on running any of it together, all of it together, or what. But it's there's the opportunity there to run a fast time.
Yeah, I was having a chat to Kieran and Tom about it yesterday, and they were asking some questions about the course, and I was telling them what I saw from when I came and supported you last year.
Yeah. So it's there for the taking, because if the weather's good, you could be on for a good time. Yeah,
definitely. And then the other person of note that I noticed in the results for Wolves was RQ.
Yeah, I met RQ on the start line. Yeah,
who ran he came 12th overall, and he ran a 34:26.
That's decent, isn't it?
It is.
That really is. He's done really well there. So really sound lad as well. It was great to have a chat with RQ afterwards as well. So saw him before and afterwards, and I think he was really happy with his 10K. I'm not sure if it was a PB for him or not. I'm not sure if it was.
I'm not sure.
No, I don't know.
But he's been going out recently, and smashing all the park runs and running quick at all of them. So yeah. It's a very decent time. So great work, RQ.
Yeah, really good. Is there a lad from B&R who wears some real funky shorts?
That is Kieran.
Yeah, because he might have been wearing some pink shorts on the day. Yeah, some they look like similar to the brand I wear. You know, those
Happy Stride ones.
Yeah.
He wears them at all training and all the races. Yeah.
I could see him a mile off. Yeah. So no, it was awesome. Another shout I wanted to just give quickly to someone called Brandon Hayward, who I've met through a guy I ran Valencia with, called Paul, who wanted to give a shout out to this lad called Brandon, who I've since met, and he squeezed under 40. He did 39:30.
Excellent.
I saw him run out with the pacer, with the 40-minute pacer, and obviously just didn't let go and just kicked on at the end. So very well done to you, Brandon. And what was funny was me and Sam started in front of the 40-minute pacer, and as soon as we started running, we felt the tidal wave of the guys at the front go really quick, and me and Sam were like, "What are we doing? This is like 5-minute miling." You know, we were like this. We were just laughing going around this first corner, saying, "What are we doing? We can't run this fast." And then eventually after about 200 meters, the 40-minute pacer overtook us. But good event overall. I'd say the Wolves 10K is a good race to run. So
excellent. Good. Awesome work, everybody, and awesome work, mate.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was hard graft, but 10Ks always are, aren't they?
Yeah.
So
very
they
much
really
so.
are. But yeah.
So shall I go through my training quickly?
Yes.
So where did we start?
Saturday Parkrun.
So that would have been.
Bye.
Come on, you. Thank you. I'm trying to find it on.
Here we go. These are the while you're looking. These are, sorry to hold my laptop up to my computer.
Yeah, go on.
Can you see those shorts?
Yes, that's Kieran. Yeah.
Look at this. There's some absolute worldy shorts. Pink, blue, yellow.
Yeah.
All the colours. Purple. Love it.
Yeah. So, week started at Wire Forest Parkrun with you, Laura, Sam, and Louise. We were chatting at the start, weren't we? And you and Sam were going, "Oh, we're just going to run nice and easy. Oh, should we run about 25 minutes?" And I was like, "Come on, you got to run at least 8-minute miles." And you were like, "Nope, we're going to take it easy." So I set off a bit quicker at the start and went off. Ended up running 22 minutes, which I was quite pleased with on that course, but I'm glad I went to Wire Forest rather than going out to Arrow Valley, because I knew I would run way too quick if I went down to a tarmac park run. So it was good to run through the forest and on some trail. And then I did a 5K warm down afterwards. So just plodded around. We were doing the 3K loop, weren't we? But you and Sam decided to go the one way, and I went and did the hill again.
Well, we went the correct way, which is the actual trail. You decided to run the hill again.
Yeah.
And once is enough for me.
Yeah. No, I do. Yeah, But there we go. And then when I got home from Wire Forest, I jumped on the bike and did 30-mile bike ride. So that was good to get that volume in on the Saturday. And then on the Sunday, I went for a run and managed to run 12 mile. So a longish type run. And I ran an average of 7:36 a mile. So ran 12 mile in an hour and 31. So
amazing.
Yeah, I was very pleased to be able to get that in, because I would not have been able to do that the week before at all. So the fact that I'm managing to get some miles into the legs is, I am super, super happy. We've definitely turned a corner this week. But so I ran 12 mile, and then when I got back from the run, jumped on the bike and went and rode 35 mile on the bike as well. So got quite a big amount of volume on the Sunday. So that was good. So I finished last week with, at the end of the week, I'd done 135 mile on the bike in total.
Yeah.
Plus all of the stuff on the static bike in the gym, plus all my elliptical stuff. And I also managed 31.39 mile running. So that's a big difference, because the week before I'd managed 10K of running. And then last week I managed 30, nearly 32 mile. So
50K,
yeah, very happy with that. And then Monday, I managed to go out for a run again. Got out and did 8 miles, nice and easy, down to the lake and back, which was good. My lower leg didn't feel great on the run on Monday, but I think that's possibly because I'd run 12 mile the day before. It started to ease up, and then the pain started to come back again towards the end of the run. So it wasn't great, but I got it done. But then when I got back from that run on Monday, I jumped on the bike and did just under 22 mile on the bike.
Yeah.
So that was a decent Monday again for volume. Then on Tuesday, I again got out for a run when I got home from work. So managed to do 10 mile at 7:33 average, so an hour and 15, and the leg felt better than it did on the Monday. So it's
Good.
still not right, nowhere near right, and I'm still getting pain every step, but it's way, way, way better than it has been, and I'm actually getting out and doing miles, which is great. I don't know about race pace at the moment. I don't know if I could run race pace, so that's 6:26 a mile, but I'm tempted to try it out this weekend and see if I can actually run pace. But anyway, I'm trying to just get back into it slowly, not do anything, no heroics or anything, just
you could just put maybe
miles in the legs.
You could just maybe put a 5-minute block or a 10-minute block, or you could something small. Yeah.
But yeah, to be able to get 10 miles in on Tuesday was good. And then I went down to the gym, did 30 minutes on cross trainer, 30-minute static bike session with some, it was like a mountain climb with intervals during the climb, and then 15 minutes on the cross trainer. But by the end of that, I think the amount of volume and the fact that I've actually been running again, I could start to feel a bit of tightness in my right calf as well.
Yeah.
So, and along with, did I tell you I pulled my quad on my right hand side from stretching?
No, from stretching.
So not Wednesday just gone, but the Wednesday before, I got into pigeon pose. And
You did tell me this.
And my quad went ping. So I've had a really tight pulled quad for the last week. And I started to feel that, and my right calf was getting a bit tight after I did that cross trainer. So I was like, I'm going to sack off doing any S&C. So I didn't bother doing S&C on Tuesday, which I think was the right call. Yeah. And then yesterday, I managed to, on the bike, do 30.5 mile up to my shop. I say up to my shop, big round the Wrekin and back. Went to rode to Droitwich and back, rather than just running straight, riding straight to the shop, and then jumped on the bike back from the shop. So just 5k back very quickly, and then got my running kit on and did my first club session for weeks. Like,
really?
I can't remember the last time I ran with the club. It was only an easy/steady run because they've got the road relays this tomorrow. So it was only easy steady. So I ran a mile down to the session, ran 10k with the club, and then did a bit of a top up afterwards. So I did 8.5 mile at an average of 7:38 a mile. So very happy with that. And then went into the gym and did half an hour on the cross trainer and all of my S&C. So, nice. and then did 1.5 miles running back from the gym. When was the last time I ran back from the gym? I can't even remember. But it's been decent.
That's really positive then. Yeah.
So far this week, I've done 55 mile on the bike, but I'm already at 28 mile of running this week.
Have you done anything above steady, did you say? Is everything sort of been easy and steady?
Yeah, everything's been easy/steady, yeah.
So what just remind us again, what is that sort of target marathon pace? 6?
So target marathon pace is 6:26 a mile, so 4 minutes.
Oh, yeah. So it's that sub 20 pace.
Yeah. So that is target, but I think the fastest mile I ran yesterday was around 7:10. So it's not. I'm not anywhere near race pace, but then I'm not trying to run race pace at the moment either. I'm trying to keep it steady just to ease my way back into it. So touch wood, it carries on that way. I went to see Rob and his magic hands again yesterday. His name's Rob Holcroft, and he runs a company called Superhumans over in Bromsgrove.
Right. Okay.
So, I went to go and see him yesterday for a second treatment. And he always says that it takes a couple of days, so at least 48 hours for it to fully settle in. So hopefully for Sunday's long run, it will have fully settled in and I'll be okay to actually go for a long run this week.
What
So
were
we
you?
shall see.
What would you like in an ideal world? Not ideal, because this isn't an ideal situation. But what will you prioritize? The distance or the time on feet, or getting the marathon pace in, or do you want to do all three?
I'm gonna prioritize trying to get the distance in, because I want that. As you say, time on feet. I want that, but I want to get the distance in to know that I'm okay to run that distance. So I'll probably try and run somewhere around 15, 16 mile this week.
Okay.
So on Sunday.
Nice.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Touch wood.
It's Mother's Day, so shout out to all you mothers out there.
Yes.
On Sunday. So maybe you are a mother who's going out for her Sunday long run.
Yeah.
But on behalf of everyone else out there, we apologise for doing our long run on your Mother's Day. I'm going to get my long run in, because I don't know if I said, but I wanted to do the Gloucester half marathon. But by the time I went to say I wanted to do it, it sold out. So doesn't look like I'll be doing that now. I've sent them a text, say, have you got any places? But they haven't even read it. So I'm going to have to go with the, do you know who I am?
Yeah.
That's going to be my next text. Do you guys know who I am? So I'll do that. I'll follow up with that. But it looks like I won't be doing the Gloucester half. So instead, I think I'm going to be doing my own half marathon round here, and then I'll probably go and get me mum, and we'll go out for lunch on. Sunday morning.
Are you going for like a specific pace this weekend, or is it just to try and get some miles in?
Just to try and get back to doing a long run, because I haven't done a long run now for a few weeks. So I'm going to keep it steady, and then when I do the peak week long runs, which is starting next week, that I'm going to start adding some marathon pacing, because I did do some marathon pace work last week before I got a bit poorly, which I did enjoy. But almost around here with some of the hills, it was like there's almost no point trying to promise myself a 5k block when 3k of it is uphill. So I'll just burn myself out, I think. So I'm just going to concentrate on just getting a hilly long run in, I think. A steady long run.
Nice. Because obviously I want to try marathon pace at some point this weekend, just to see if it's possible, because next week's peak week for me.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what peak week is going to look like and what I'm actually going to peak at. Yeah. But I'm hoping that it seems to have kept the fitness from cycling. So we shall see.
It was all going so well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So yeah. One of those things.
The injury started from Warwick Half, which was start of February.
But because you ran that PB as well, like you were coming back from, your calf. Was it your calf or your? Was it last November, October?
Yeah, it was calf problems again. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's just one of those things.
Never mind. Yeah. It is.
This is interesting, by the way. I just wanted to quickly mention this. So, I've mentioned her already on this podcast, but the coach from Worcester is called Christina Boxer, if anybody wants to Google her, who was a decent 1,500 meter runner in the 80s, Olympic level. And I asked her quickly just before session last night. I was like, in your heyday, what was your volume you were running? And she said 50 miles, something like that, which is less than I thought. But for a 1,500 meter runner, maybe that makes sense. But she said she knew people that would try and get to 100 miles a week. And she had a friend who was an Olympian who was on 97 miles for the week, went out and did a 5K and got injured.
Oh.
Trying to top up to that 100. So she said, trying to chase numbers sometimes.
Yeah.
You've just got to run to routine and run to rather than numbers, really.
That was my downfall, trying to cram a load of mileage into the start of the week, chasing mileage rather than just being sensible and just still spread it out over the week and do some easier stuff after races rather than trying to cram it all in at the start of the week so you could ease it down for the race. But
someone said about me about Wolverhampton, they said, would you be interested in doing for the next race a mesocycle or, whatever they call it, like a 3-week thing where you sort of taper for a race. But no, I just think the marathon is God, the marathon training takes priority. And if I've got a 10K race at the end of week 6, then it just has to slot in, if you know what I mean. Nothing else really so I don't want to find myself tapering for a 10K during a marathon block. I'm just being stubborn about it. It's like the 10K race or those tune-up races just happen to find themselves within a marathon block. So I just work them in. I don't really, if it was a real key race, one I really wanted to look forward to doing, then maybe. But as far as I'm concerned, the A race is the marathon.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that is my main target, is London, especially after I was talking about this last night, and 2023 I put my name into the hat for the club place at London, and there was only 2 of us that put our names in, and I didn't get my name pulled out. It was a 50-50 chance, and I didn't get my name pulled out. So when it did Manchester, got a good for age time for London, got a good for age place, then double booked myself, so I couldn't do London
with
again.
The choir gig.
And then ended up running Manchester, run a good for age time again, but then got a ballot place this year, so didn't even need the good for age time. I am not missing London this year. I'm not doing it. So I'm getting to that start line.
Do you know what makes me laugh? Just quickly, right? Whenever I've been to some races lately, like when I did Wolverhampton, or I've been to do a couple of park runs, or I can't remember where I was before that. But anyway, people, I think they think we're like a married couple, because the first thing people say is, "How's Brett? Is he okay? How's Brett? How's his interview? Is he all right?" It's like I'm like your significant other. And it's just really funny how many people ask me how you are. Because people are so concerned. But which is quite interesting. It's quite funny.
Amazing. Right. So I've just noticed the time.
Yeah. Comments and emails next.
We possibly will have to leave those till next week, won't we? So we'll leave comments and emails. We'll definitely get round to them next week, though. I promise. But what we do need to do before we go,
can I just say before you say it, I've got one last thing I wanted to say.
Go.
One person I just wanted to give a shout out to. I don't even think they listen to the podcast because I've only just started following them. The guy is called Keanu Does Stuff. And he is an ex-soldier. And he, just for a laugh, well, not just for a laugh, he's raising money for Help for Heroes. He's going to run the length of the UK. He's running from John O'Groats down south to Land's End. Yeah. And he's, he just seems like a really chill guy, really nice guy. And he's running not far from where I live. And he said to anyone and everyone, if you want to come and, run a few miles with me, 1 mile, 10 miles, an ultra, let me know. Here's my dates. And the guy has got an Instagram and he's called Keanu Does Stuff. And I've said, I'm going to go and run a few miles with him. So he's starting his challenge next month. He's starting next week. So it's about the first week of April. So I think he might even be starting on this time next week, next Friday. But it should take him about, I think it's 6 weeks it's going to take him, something like that. But it's going to take a long time. But he just seems like an interesting guy.
Awesome.
So best of luck to him. So he's starting on April Fool's Day at John O'Groats, and he's going to finish, all being well, on May the 23rd.
Excellent.
So
excellent. Good work. Right. So just to finish off, then we need to go to the Strava segment. So our leader on our Strava leaderboard, our first place in distance last week was Matt Hember with 81 miles on the nose. So awesome work, Matt. Second was Kyle Blacketter with 80.4 miles. And third was Tom O'Connell with 80 miles on the nose. Our top three for climbing elevation. In first place, this is crazy. If this is all running, this is mad. So Ryan Gorn, 8,050 foot.
What?
So if that's
Is he from?
running,
Is he from Sheffield?
yeah, that's
amazing.
Impressive. Yeah. Second place was Nick Ireland with 5,620 foot, and third was Here Comes Bod with 5,325 foot. So
amazing.
Awesome work. Well done to all three of you. And then our top three ladies, we had in first place Victoria Lee with 58.6 miles. Second was Leanne Byard with 56.8 miles, and third was Rachel Watson with 50.3 miles. So well amazing work, everybody. And congratulations on the mileage and the climbing and all of the great work that's going on.
Yeah, very, very well done, everybody. So next time we reconvene, will it be April Fool's Day?
Is that on Friday?
No. April Fool's Day is Monday. Sorry, Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Friday. Yeah, it'll be next Friday the 4th.
Friday the 4th. Yeah.
Where are these days, weeks, and months going? It's going to be April next week. What is going on? We're a third of the way through the year. A quarter of the way through the year. That's crazy. No, a third. January, February, March.
Third.
No, a quarter.
Yeah, a third. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Quarter. Yeah. Yeah. After April, it'll be a third, won't it?
Yeah. Madness.
Yeah. It's scary, but there we go. Right. Shall we leave it there? Have you got anything else?
No, just let us know if there's anything you want us to shout you out for. If you've got any marathons coming up or races, if you've got any shoes news, send us an email or comment on the video. And yes, we shall read out your thoughts and feelings and targets and stuff.
Amazing. So thank you all so much for watching or listening. Please go and subscribe to our channel. Or like our Instagram page. Let's get this out to a few more people. Go and tell all your friends, tell your family, tell your friends, tell people you don't even know. Just tell them to come and follow us. We shall see you next week. Cheers, guys.
See you guys. Bye.